Hello, thank you for logging on today. Today I'd like to look at how we can manage a debt. So for example, you've found yourself borrowed so much money and you are swallowed up in debt. How do you manage that? How do you come out of that? You know, the Bible says the borrower is servant to the lender. That is in all means trying to tell us avoid being in debt, because you find yourself as a borrower being enslaved. In fact, it goes on to say, don't be a surety for someone else's debt. Don't be a guarantor for someone else's debt. And if you find yourself in that kind of position, it says, quickly focus on it and try and get it cleared ASAP. And so how do you, if you find yourself in debt like this, how do you deal with it? But first of all, before I actually go into that, the fact that the Bible says the borrower is servant to the lender does not mean borrowing is a sin. You know, let's not put interpretations where they don't exist. It doesn't say it's wrong, but it just says it's servant to the lender. So if you don't want to be enslaved to someone else, don't borrow. Okay, so I think I'd like to make that clear. And also another thing I'd like to make clear is the fact that borrowing is not necessarily a sin. Because if you class it as a sin, then you shouldn't take a mortgage. But then there are wise and foolish things that you can do, and borrowing can become a foolish thing if not done properly. But hey, you're here now. You found yourself, you're swallowed up in debt. One of the first things I would say is, what you focus on grows. So in other words, if you focus on being debt-free, that grows. What does that mean? It just means give it some time and attention. It can be quite daunting, so some people would rather shy away from thinking about it. When the thought of, you're owing so much money comes, you just shove it at the back of your mind like, can't think about that now. I need to go work, I need to go do this, I need to go do that. Yes, it's very tempting to feel like that, but face it head on. Say, I'm owing this amount, how am I going to clear it? When you start to think about it and put plans in place, guess what? It's easier to clear it then. Because if you're always shoving it at the back of your mind, even when money comes, like a little money coming, not big enough to clear it, you wouldn't think of using that money to clear it. You think, well, this can clear the loan. I'm owing 100,000. This is only 10,000. It's not going to do anything. It's only 1,000. It's not going to do anything. And then you end up not using that little money towards offsetting the debt. But of course, if you put it in the front of your mind, it becomes easier, because any resource that comes in financially, you can start to think about how you can strategically use it to clear it. So I believe the first thing I'd like to talk about, which I think is important, is bring it to the forefront of your mind. Don't put it at the back of your mind. Don't let fear or shame make you put it at the back of your mind. And then the next thing is plan how to clear it. You know, it's easy to say, I'm expecting that project to bring in X amount, and when that project clicks and brings in that X amount, I'll clear it. That's great. If you are in such a position, all well and good, but I want to encourage you to put a plan in place. The big chunk of debt, when reduced into smaller sized chunks, becomes more manageable. And this is where it might help if you actually have a payment plan. So talk to the person you're owing and try to arrange a payment plan that works for you, not just a payment plan that works for them, but a payment plan that works for you, because you're the one that's trying to clear it. And guess what? Most people that you owe probably are reasonable. But of course, if they're not reasonable and unwilling to listen to you, then you can then start to think about how you can increase your income. That's the next thing. So Some of us, when we're in a certain point in our life, there are certain jobs we can't do because we feel like we're bigger than that, we're overqualified for those jobs. But this is the time when you're in a debt to say, you know what, I need the money, I will do it. Oh, I'm bigger than cleaning jobs. No, not anymore. You go do the cleaning job. I'm bigger than working in McDonald's. I'm bigger than working in a student job. No, not anymore. If it means taking on that extra shift, you take it on. So you can clear that debt. Because whenever you're in debt, you're really in minus. And so you need to come out of minus into plus. I hope these little tips have helped. There's so much more, and if you're in debt and you're struggling, you feel you need to reach out to us, drop us a message, and we can have a word with you and see how we can give you more advice and support. We are not a financial organization, so all of this is just biblical based teachings that we believe are principles that can help you. If you're in serious debt, seek financial advice as well from financial institutions or specialized organizations. They also would be able to help. So don't keep quiet, speak out. I've mentioned 4 things today. Bring it to the forefront of your mind. Number 1, break it down into smaller chunks. You might need to set up a payment plan, but when it's very big, it's very daunting. If you break it down into smaller chunks, it's easier. Number 2, and the third one, I said, think about how you can increase your income. If you need to go do extra work, think about that. And then I said, don't keep silent, speak up. Thank you for listening. God bless you.